So I left you off with the engine still in the S10. I had to pull it back out. We had to do some work. We had to finish up the oil pan, and we had to get the firewall finished. So in preparation for that, had to cut out the firewall. So that's where we're at there. We got another sheet of, or not a sheet, but a quarter sheet or whatever this is of sheet metal. We got a little frame I started building. That's actually just 3/8 round tubing. So that's kind of gonna be the shape of the firewall. I gotta get some sound deadening out of the way first. And that vacuum line has to get hooked back up. But I got the connector that's for all the stuff in the front end. That'll go just like that. And yeah, so that's gonna get all patched up. We have a few other things we have to finish up before we get the engine back in. Number one's oil pan. So let me show you here. I started working on this guy. This is, well, that's the oil pickup tube. So that's gonna get welded into the oil pan, and should be a pretty simple task. I don't know how much of that I'm gonna film, but I will be filming a video on the walk around of the external wet sump oil system. And I'm gonna show you guys how to set that up, because there really isn't any good documentation on how you set up an external wet sump oil system. So it's not the easiest thing in the world, but if you know anything about how the oil system works, it's pretty easy to figure out what goes where, what line goes to what. So next up, I think we have to get the intake manifold on. So let's get started on that, and we'll see how that goes. Ooh, bam! That's a bad bitch. Okay, so here we have it. We got the vibrant clamp here. This is just an elbow that's going to go to our expansion tank. Fittings are on for the fuel rail. On the bottom side, we have, this goes to our FPR, fuel pressure regulator, plugged, air intake temp sensor, and also the PTC fitting for the map sensor. Plugged one of these with the drain plug from the oil pan. The other one is just the factory ECU sensor. So we're not going to be worrying about fuel too much right now, but that's really all there is on the underside. So, but it says silicone here, so that's because there is no O-ring for that. So it's so thin of aluminum right there. It's kind of weird, but okay. Fuck you. So it looks like I just learned the hard way. You have to install the Plazmaman intake manifold with none of the water rails on, nothing on, because otherwise you cannot get to anything. You also have to have a ball head socket, so an M6 ball head like Allen socket, and that's really the only way you can get to any of these. So I guess I'm gonna have to go find some different tools, and we're gonna have to do this at a later point. For now, there's actually one more thing I forgot, so I'm gonna work on that. I have, let's see if I can grab it here. This is a GTO alternator I got. I wish it was cleaner looking, but this is the alternator that they tell you to run with the CWC kit. So I have this install kit. So it's a pulley that is not keyed or anything. It's just a pulley that goes on there. The top relocation bracket, I guess that's what that is. And then I don't know what this stuff is, so we'll have to learn, figure it out. I guess the first thing I'm going to do is actually try and clean this up a little bit. So it looks like pop the pulley off, take off those 4 bolts, and I should be able to clean it up quite a bit. So let's do that. Hoping this works. Did so far. So, oh, came in. Woo, that was kind of gross. Ooh, there we go. We have it all apart. We have our kit sitting here. I think the next thing to do is prep this for paint. Let me show you guys where we're at. So I actually didn't really, I guess, need to take those 4 bolts out, but I did. These 4 are the ones that you really have to take out to get it apart. As you can see, I stripped out the head of a couple of them, so I had to, you know, use like an easy out for those. So we got the alternator all painted up. I put it back together real quick. I just put the CWC pulley on it, so it's all ready to go. So that's really what it looks like. Looks pretty good. And so then we still have to install this kit. So I'm looking down here, and it looks like we have the 1 bolt from the back side, and then the 1 bolt from the front side with a some sort of funky nut on the back side. So let's see if we can get the stock alternator off. Okay, so that fell off. Let's pull that out. See, this is the funky nut they use on the back side. Some sort of not captured, but like holds it in place for you. And then here, we're just going to take off that IM line real quick. Actually, no, we could just move it out of the way. And it looks like that's probably a 12. So, that it is. So, what we'll do is we'll get a long extension. We'll hit that from the back. Oops. Okay. So we got this style bracket here. That's like a tensioner nut. We got this little flange, and then we have a bag of hardware and an alternator. So that looks right, and then I think we need the top bracket as well. Okay, so top bolt, bottom bolt. So we're gonna go sort out hardware here. There's a little one. So let's see here. So top, this is the one I need right now, right? Okay, so okay guys, that was the CWC alternator install. I think it looks awesome. Check this out, right? So we got, you know, our nice new GTO alternator, some fresh hardware. We got the factory nut. You can use their nut or the factory nut apparently with their setup. I just put in their adapter bracket on the top. Still uses a tensioner just like it normally would, and that's really it, you know. So in the future, we're obviously gonna have to buy a belt that matches this length because this is extremely short. It doesn't have a water pump, so it just goes from here to here. That is more something I did than, you know, something that would be typical of your CWC kit. They normally have the water pump pulley, the big sucker right there. So that's the setup we got right now. Still a lot to go, but we're off to a good start. I am excited to keep this momentum going, so stay tuned for my next video, and we got some good ones coming.